Up next is my very favorite legislator of all time, my own 11th Legislative District Senator, Bob Hasegawa. Yeah, give it up for Bob. He is speaking for us today to represent labor justice. Bob grew up on Beacon Hill in Seattle. He's a longtime labor and social justice freedom fighter. He's in a big hurry. He actually is supposed to be in a meeting, I think, 2 minutes ago, so I'm gonna talk fast. He's led many worker struggles, winning top wages and benefits for working families and retirees. He collaborated in many social justice struggles to protect civil rights, democracy, the environment, and our constitutional rights. For 32 years, Bob rose through the ranks of the Teamsters Union to become the elected leader of the largest general workers local union in the Pacific Northwest. For 3 terms, 9 years, he also led pro-union democracy reform, the Teamsters for a Democratic Union. As a community organizer, Bob has long sought to build bridges between social justice organizations, particularly those serving the labor, environmental, religious, and Asian Pacific Islander communities. Bob believes in lifelong learning and also holds a Master's of Public Administration degree from the Evans School of Public Affairs at the UW. Since he began representing the 11th Legislative District in 2005, Bob's priorities have centered around serving as a voice for working families, small businesses, and disenfranchised communities. One of my personal heroes, Senator Bob Hasegawa.
My favorite teachers, Juliana and Becca, thank you. Both 11th District members. Yeah. So, thanks for being here. Two thanks are in order. One, thanks for being activists and fighting for justice and actually bending that arc of the moral universe towards justice. But thanks for being educators and supporting education. You know, it is the most undervalued job and the most difficult, yet the most important job society has, because what you are doing is conveying the knowledge base of humanity from generations past to generations in the future. And without the work that you're doing, society stagnates. But society doesn't treat your jobs with the due respect it deserves. So that's one of the struggles that we're facing here, because budgets are, after all, moral documents. And we need our budget to express the morality of where we want our society to go. I have a dream for the future. You all have dreams for the future, but right now we're living a nightmare. I just came from a meeting where the members of color in the legislature, and there are very few of us who are actually people of color in the legislature, but we are incensed at recent actions just within the Department of Licensing, who's been communicating regularly with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and terrorizing our communities. I went to a school not too long ago where the teacher came to me afterwards and said, you know, 2 of these kids, and the class, it was a 5th grade class, amazing how, maybe I'm just too old or something, but kids now just seem so smart. And it was a great, being with the students, but the teacher came up afterwards and said, 2 of those families just had their parents taken away. Now, I don't know how we can, as a moral society living within a moral universe, think that that is in any way, shape, or form okay. And what that does is, what Department of Licensing has done is given license to official government to terrorize our community, because families of color, regardless of whether you're documented or not, are going underground, because contact with law enforcement just leads to bad things. So we, as members of color, are working on that issue to try and bring justice to our communities. But the intersection with education is, you see it every day in your classrooms. You see sometimes children not showing up because they're afraid that they won't, if they go to school, when they get home, mom and dad may not be there. I mean, it's just an immoral situation. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I really do want to thank you for being here and fighting the good fight and understanding what social justice is all about. If we stand together, we are more powerful. And by your being here and having a presence and letting the legislature know that we're not going to tolerate the suffering and the abuse that regular working families and us as educators are all being put through right now. We need to fight for progress, and we're going to win on this day where we're honoring Dr. Martin Luther King and all the things that he and our communities stand for. We're going to keep fighting to bend that arc of moral universe towards justice. So thank you very much for being here.
As I left bound in jail, had no money for to go